Hello. Welcome back to the channel. It's Justin Anderson here. And today we're going to be talking about some cryptocurrency. First, I want to just introduce what cryptocurrencies are, how they kind of are interacted with and such. A few of the platforms that I've seen just kind of pop up about, how to use them, and some slight predictions on the future. Dry run of what cryptocurrency is. I mean, it's becoming this kind of large phenomenon going on. I want you guys to be more informed than anything. So without further ado, all right, so first things first, cryptocurrency is just a form of online payments. So it's a digital asset designed for virtual currency. Most of these virtual currencies are a decentralized currency, meaning they work off of blockchain technology. Cryptocurrency is a digital asset that works off the blockchain. Virtual currency is decentralized and working off the blockchain. The blockchain is just, it's confusing. That's what the blockchain is. While I was reading about the blockchain, trying to understand it for myself, it's quite confusing. So what it does is it stores data of each transaction and each occurrence going on with each coin. And there are different blockchains for different types of currency. So for instance, there's, just to name the two of the big ones, there's Bitcoin and Ethereum. So you have Bitcoin and you have Ethereum. Those are the big two. And as I'll talk about later, I kind of give Bitcoin as more of that like gold standard. It was the first of its kind to really get started. It was the first big one to take off, and now we have, Ethereum, which is just starting to which is taking off fairly well. I mean, I think it was early 2021, and it was still in that $1,000, $2,000 range, and as of filming this video, it's like 3,500. Yeah. So that's pretty amazing, And then we have, I'll state those as more of I'll state Bitcoin kind of as that gold standard, and then we have Ethereum down at silver, and then we kind of fluctuate with, if we go to Coinbase, we can see, just by market cap alone, there's a top really 6, and once you kind of get out of that top 6, that market cap just fades away. Still in the billions by all means, but still kind of just fading down. So a big pro to cryptocurrency is the fact that it being decentralized means it's not running directly off of one specific governmental agency. Therefore, it's immune to government manipulation. No one person can manipulate it, because once something is written into the blockchain, it can't be, it's irreversible. So once it's in there, it's set in stone. This allows for secure payments online in terms of tokens. So the blockchain specifically is something that stores data of each transfer until the block is full. And due to the fact that the blockchain is, it's there, once you write it in, you can't, undo it. So there's no control Zing your way out of this one. So you can't change anything once it's gone into the blockchain. But we can compare the US dollar to Bitcoin. Bitcoin has a finite sum. I believe the total number of Bitcoin was right around 21 million. Whereas, the US dollar, we apparently just printed like $4 trillion over the last year that I'm aware of. With cryptocurrency, its value is based off supply and demand. For instance, when Bitcoin was introduced back in 2009, in the early 2010s, it was very, very cheap. Similar actually to what, let's say, just the meme coin Doge is currently going through, right? So it was for a long time it was under a dollar. And then what, in 2010, somebody bought 10 or bought a pizza or two or three or something for 10,000 Bitcoin. And that's where it kind of gets, that's where its real value actually started to increase and started to um, change. There was more of a supply and demand for it. So now somebody was willing to pay for something tangible with these tokens. The US dollar is actually quite similar to Dogecoin, for instance, the way I see it, and Ethereum, because there's a market cap, but it's constantly expanding, it's constantly growing. So for instance, with Ethereum, there's a constant growth. So people are, I guess, mining or some sort of that to create more coins and make that blockchain larger. And what that does is, in essence, it's kind of lowering it's increasing the supply, where at such a rate, and currently it's at such a rate where there's still enough demand for it, and people still believe that it's, that next thing that they just have to have as an asset. As we've seen, it's grown significantly. It was introduced in, I think, 2015 for Ethereum, and Dogecoin was 2011, 2013, kind of like that peak of the what's that dog, the Shibu, something like that. And at such a point, when it was introduced, it was so cheap. Say, I think Ethereum launched at something around $1. And then Doge was, incredibly low, because, it was a meme. So it was kind of just like a fake thing for the longest time. It was more of a joke than anything. And I now own some. But hey, now it's starting to return on my money, so I can see growth. And, Doge going to the moon. There's more and more of it every year. So people are constantly making more of it. More coins are being produced every year. I think the market cap for Doge was, maybe it was tokens. Maybe the token. Yeah, so the supply for Dogecoin is 130 billion tokens. Whereas for Bitcoin, it's now down to 18.7 million. Ethereum, 115 million. So as those are increasing, and and somebody tried to connect it to the US dollar, where it has a finite area of where it can actually increase to. And with the current influx of cryptocurrencies, more and more are starting to, have light brought onto, shine light onto them. So, for instance, and then NFTs, which are something that I still don't fully understand when I haven't really looked into them too much. But so some of the most known cryptocurrencies are going to be Bitcoin, Ethereum, Litecoin, Dogecoin, XLT. There's so many others. The Binance coin. So it kind of begs the question: is how many of these can actually, hold and sustain worth? And in reality, as many as need to. So as many people get behind each different coin. For instance, there's different prices obviously with each of these. So people are obviously in demand and buying and selling these coins in different manners. You can buy, recently. Also, not all crypto is the same. There's so many new ones popping out. Like, there's one called, I think it's Safe Moon, and then, influencers on TikTok and YouTube and stuff are creating their own. And I'm not really sure, like, how to do that, because that would be kind of cool. That'd be kind of cool. Create my own cryptocurrency. Maybe I'll look out to do that tonight. Stay tuned. or NFT. I don't know if anybody would buy anything like that, but I mean, hey, I could start, right? People are doing it already. Why not? Why not? So personally, if you want to learn more about cryptocurrency and kind of understanding, the craze behind it, two of my favorite resources just to kind of understand. I mean, finding things on Google or finding things on, say, Coinbase or even Reddit, because there are so many people using Reddit and there's a community for pretty much anything. So if you find a coin that you want to know a little bit more about, if you type that into Reddit, you will find something. I'm not saying it's going to be useful by any means. I'm just saying people will have opinions whether or not that coin is of any worth. And there will be people on there as well that will provide you with just that, like, the due diligence of each coin to kind of understand things on a deeper level. Also, I mean, just random influencers on YouTube, say like myself. I do have opinions on certain coins. I try to share them to an extent. I mean, I did that earlier in this video talking about the, gold standard. But, I mean, there's different levels of that, and people will show different, levels of understanding that they have and how they feel about a certain asset. It's the same as stocks. And honestly, all of this is speculation. If enough people are talking about it, enough people will put some money towards it, some form of their currency that they make or they have to be able to push this, and hopefully they see growth. Because in a day and age where money rules all, you really have to understand how to utilize it and get some good return. Because honestly, if you let your money sit in a bank, you get no return. Now, I don't mean no return, because I mean there's compound interest, but between like a tenth of a percentage and 1%, unless you qualify for high yield savings accounts and such, you're not really making any money with that just sitting there. It's a good form of not being able to touch it or use it, but you can't, like, it's growing at a very stagnant rate. Yes, I understand compound interest and such, but it's still growing at a very stagnant rate. That really begs the question of how many of these cryptos can hold value, and are any of them going to continue to increase in value? And the real milestone that these coins have to be able to hit is usability. Because if you can't use them like any other currency, such as, the European pounds, the euro, I mean, the US dollar, any of those, pesos, I mean, any of those, it's going to be hard for them to continue to gain traction in the market. For instance, I know Bitcoin, you can buy real estate. You can use it on Shopify and Expedia, book flights, stuff like that. And being able to actually utilize that coin, and the more that token, that coin can change hands for a certain amount of currency, the better. And we can thank the guy back in 2010 that spent 10,000 Bitcoin on a few pizzas. I mean, and he did an interview later saying that he wasn't really embarrassed or upset that he spent that many, because, I mean, in hindsight, it's what got the ball rolling. So because there was news coverage about it, people saw it and understood, okay, well, now that this is actually being used as a form of actual currency, I can buy and sell a product, I can trade a product for this, coin. Now it has actual worth. And that's when, and I think it was 1 week later, it grew by 10 times. It was $0.008 dollars. So an eighth of a penny. No, not an eighth of a penny. 80% of a penny. And then, like a week later or a month later, it was 8 pennies for each token. Now it's what, in the $50,000 range? I mean, whoo, that would have been some sum right there. So, what do you guys think is going to be that next coin? What do you think is going to be the breaking point for coins to actually gain that market value and that trend? I mean, we can see Dogecoin right now. I mean, there was a petition going around. I think that's been signed over 210,000 times for Amazon to accept Dogecoin as a way to pay for products. And I'm sorry, but if I was a seller on Amazon, yes, I'll take some Dogecoin. I'm like, yeah, you can pay me in Dogecoin, that's fine. It's like, why not? Like, I'm providing you a service, you're providing me with, something. I could then immediately turn that around and exchange it for just regular US dollars because I live in the US. Or I could hold it, given it goes up, it may go down, make some money, why not? I mean, why wouldn't you, almost? Now I understand there's probably technicalities behind it and such, but I mean, personally, I own some Dogecoin, so if it goes up, I'm happy. If it goes down, well, it's still probably above where I bought it at, so I'm not really upset about it. But hey, until next time, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you haven't already, don't forget to like it and subscribe to the channel. And, thanks for watching, friends.